My name is David Gregg. I am the new avionics instructor here at Thrust Institute of Maintenance. I am currently going to be instructing at the new site in Moline, Illinois, inside the Elliott Aviation hangar. So at this new campus, we are actually introducing a brand new avionics course. This is going to be mainly for technicians coming out of A&P school that is going to give them an opportunity to learn a little bit more about avionics. During this course, they're going to be introduced to some theories of electricity. They're going to learn things like Ohm's law and the relationship between voltage and resistance current. They are also going to deep dive into how to build up wire harnesses, how to install connector plugs, and also how to troubleshoot once they have finished, as well as being able to be introduced to some of the components that they will be dealing with. Avionics is basically what helps pilots everywhere get from point A to point B. Doesn't fly the plane necessarily, although there are parts of it that will assist in flying the plane, but it gives the pilots a computerized version of where they're going and also gives them all the information they need, such as airspeed, certain air data, temperature, that kind of things. It's all important information that the pilot needs in order to ensure a safe flight. You can come out of A&P school and pretty much land a position anywhere in the aviation field. That's no problem. What the avionics certificate is going to help them more get a leg up towards possibly taking another route besides just the mechanic route. In this industry, avionics and mechanics are a separate path. Mechanics, you deal more with the structures and deal more with gears of the plane, what actually helps keep the plane up. Avionics, you're dealing more with the electrical side of it. You're dealing more with wiring. You're dealing more with signal tracing. You're also dealing more with the actual components that's going to display a lot of the information that the pilot needs. And someone who has both mechanical and avionics has more of a tendency to excel in this field because there are times where mechanics are slow, avionics are high, and vice versa. So that gives them that extra little piece of skill that allows them to be versatile for a company. Also, it doesn't hurt that every certificate you get in this field is going to help bump your pay up just a little bit more. Garmin's becoming one of the bigger ones out there now. The two ones that were really driving the aviation industry were Rockwell Collins and Honeywell. Those are still very big players. They are similar in aspects of they display the same information. However, the way that they do it is vastly different. The displays look different. The units that they use to get the information to the displays are very different. The user interfaces are even different. Garmin has gone more to a tendency to use a lot of touchscreen, a lot of push buttons, whereas Honeywell and even Rockwell Collins uses more of a control wheel or a control kind of mouse almost to really interface with the system. Even within Garmin themselves, their different systems vary greatly. If you're at a smaller FBO where you might be dealing with planes like 152 behind me or some Pipers or anything like that, you're going to be dealing with Garmin G3Xs, Garmin G5s. Those are smaller units, smaller displays, not near as much wiring is involved in order to get that up and running. However, if you go to a bigger one that might be doing something like Citations or Challengers, you're dealing with Garmin G1000s, G5000s, and that is a vast different system. It has a lot more wiring to it, a lot more units to it, and it's just a more, not necessarily complicated system, but more integrated system than some of the smaller ones that Garmin offers. It's going to translate very easily, mainly because they're going to be focused on Garmin, and of the three, Garmin, as far as looking at prints and looking at schematics, is probably the harder of the three to differentiate. Because not only can Garmin be a standalone system by itself, it can also be integrated with other types of avionics systems. So you can actually integrate a Garmin with a Rockwell Collins system or a Honeywell system. And because of that, Garmin likes to draw their prints with a lot of variations to where you have some play in where you might be able to put a certain wire or pin a certain wire up. So you're going to learn that in this course because that's going to be the main focus of it. And from there, it just kind of gets easier if you go one of the other routes. It's still basic electrical theory on all of it. It still governs the same laws. The only thing would be where, like, let's say a commercial electrician came out of the field. A lot of times, you know, you lay the wire up there. You don't really, you try to keep it nice and neat, but it's just kind of laid there. You really have to focus on how you're routing wire in an airplane, because there are several times where you can get yourself into a snag to where, yeah, it may look nice and pretty, but you may have it at a bend to where it's rubbing up against a piece of metal, and over time that's going to create a problem. So that is probably something that on the commercial side they're not used to seeing, but something that we focus very heavily on in the aircraft industry. If I was to pick one, it's the Garmin G3X. It's what I started with Garmin on, and it was very easy for me to learn. At least it was a very cool, different experience to see, because I went from more of it was older type systems, not really a whole lot of integration. It was kind of clunky. And then when you get to this G3X, it's touchscreen, it's got a few push buttons, but it's very easy to navigate, very easy to kind of get into the bells and whistles, and even easy to even set up. So it kind of got me a little nerded out a little bit, because I am a nerd. And yeah, it was just a great experience all ago. Thank you everybody for watching. If any of this interests you, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. And also, if you may be interested in taking this new avionics course, please reach out to our admission team and they will answer any questions you may have.